Hello, welcome to Easy English. So today I want to find out what the people of Brighton do for a job, how they got the job, and what they enjoy about the job. Let's go. What do you do for a job?
So I work at Sainsbury's. Technically the role I do is called a training assistant, but essentially what I call it is stacking shelves. So I'm basically on the shop floor, like unloading all of the morning's delivery that's come in, just sticking that on the shelves. And I work across like the fresh department, so kind of your milk, your veg, some meats, some yogurt, some cream and stuff like that, and basically make sure that all gets out, whilst also like helping any customers that come in.
Sure. What do you do for a job?
Okay, well, I'm retired, but I used to work for the tax office, HMRC, in Brighton. Retired 3 or 4 years ago.
What do you do for a job?
Okay, so I work in the music industry predominantly. So I work as a band manager, promoter, events manager, I guess you could kind of call it, and also a production manager based in Cardiff. So I do various different tasks from doing accounts, doing offers, and doing a bit of promotion and marketing, all the kind of various different elements of working in music, I guess.
Wow, you're like a one-man band. No pun intended.
No pun intended, yeah. A one-man band, 4 bands. But I also do a bit of tour management, and then, I also do a bit of photography as well. So that's why I'm out here in Brighton, or near Brighton, doing a bit of photography just as a bit of a hobby, a bit of a trip away. And I just thought, well, I'm over this way, bring my camera and kind of, do a bit of snaps. But I also do a part of my job is a bit of promotional and portrait photography and a bit of street photography as well. So kind of like, all the various different elements kind of mixed together. So
Can you tell me, what do you do for a job?
I'm an estate agent in Hertfordshire.
Okay, and for those who might not know what that is, could you describe what your job entails?
I actually work in the land and new homes department, so I take on big plots of land with, say, a house with a plot of land to the side and help people get planning on it. So put another house on the side, and then I help them sell it, and hopefully they move on and their dreams come true, hopefully. I'm a dream maker, there you go.
Oh, what? Would you be able to tell me what you do for a job?
Yeah, so I work in employment support.
Okay, and what is that? What does that entail?
Just helping people, no matter how long they've been unemployed, find work or a course that suits them, really.
What do you do for a job?
I am an urgent carer with Coastal Care.
An urgent carer for Coastal Care. And can you describe what that job entails?
So basically, as far as I know, when people go into hospital, they generally come out with a care package. So those that go back to their homes and don't have anyone to help them recover from an injury or something, then they'll come out with a care package, which is part of what we do. So as urgent care, we're a temporary service.
Yeah.
So it's generally like between 6 to 8 weeks that you're entitled to care. And then from there, you move on to a permanent care company where they come in for longer periods and help with shopping and stuff like that.
See, almost like a rehabilitation thing.
Yeah, so urgent care, I mean, like probably our longest call is about 30 minutes. So anything between 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes. So it's just going in, making sure that people have help with a wash or that they've eaten, just general looking after people, I suppose.
If you'd like to support or learn with Easy English, then go to the link below, patreon.com/Easy English Videos, to become a member for just $5 a month. You can get learning material for each one of our episodes, including a transcript to help you read along with the episode and a vocabulary list, providing you definitions for the more complicated vocabulary. You can get video downloads with and without subtitles, plus an MP3 file of the entire audio of the episode, all for just $5 a month if you go to patreon.com/Easy English Videos. How did you get into the band management side of things?
So I studied music technology in Cardiff in the University of South Wales, and then I was my sort of ideal job at the time would have been a studio producer or studio engineer, but I knew, like, by doing the course and getting to know kind of the industry, and there's a lot less studios because a lot of people are doing it DIY and recording at home, and so I thought, right, okay, well, and then I started doing a bit more promotion. So I started promoting my own night in the third year of university in a venue in Cardiff. So it was just a Monday night, student night in a venue called The Globe, and I was promoting once every week there with a few of my friends who were doing the studio sort of the front of house engineering, and also doing the design work for the posters. So it was kind of part of the course. We kind of did that as like a extracurricular sort of stuff. And so through that, I just got to know bands and by promoting them. And one of them, who I was studying with at the time, he was like, "Oh, you've put us on a few times. Do you fancy like managing us?" And I was like, okay. Never really thought about management, but then I was like, okay, yeah, why not? So it was a band called De Niro, who are originally from North Wales, which is where I was brought up. And Tom from De Niro said, maybe we could kind of work together. And I started just on a casual basis, booking some shows for them, and then started arranging things like, merchandise and trying to sort of set up record label, links with record labels and agents and stuff like that, and booking some shows for them and just sort of different elements of it. But that's really how I got into it.
Is this job something that you had in mind that you might do, or did you fall into it?
No, I went to 2 colleges, got asked to leave one, carried on with the second one. I never got thrown out of anywhere. I always get asked to leave. And I did a building degree, construction degree, went on from there, worked for a family firm of construction, and 7 years, did labouring for 7 years, enjoyed it. Got made redundant in 91, carried on, and then went straight to, I walked down the town, in a local town, and said to the guy, I want a job, and he said, I haven't got any. So I said, well, I'll come and work for nothing. So started from there. It's 30 years ago. 31 years ago now.
Oh, wow. And so I guess there's some job enjoyment then if you've been doing this.
No. For the first 20 years, yes. For the last 10, no. Absolutely none whatsoever. People are far more needy. The general public tend to be far more needy now than they ever were 20 years ago. No. I've done it for the last 10 years. It kind of has changed, but it's different.
And what's your theory on this change?
Just, I think it's the media, as in social media.
They've seen their dream home and they want to get it.
Well, they ask questions, lots and lots of dare I say it, lots and lots of questions, but they ask lots and lots of questions, and if you don't give them the answer immediately, whereas 20 years ago, sort of 10 to 30 years ago, you had to put an advert in the paper. It was very much a very sort of sedate way of doing it, whereas now it's a lot more. It's if you're not there 24/7, you get your derriere kicked.
I understand now. Is this something which you sort of wanted to go into, or did you sort of fall into it by accident?
A bit of both, really.
Yeah.
Most of my work experience has been like turning my experiences around. So I was receiving some help from a few employment support advisors before.
All right.
And then I just ended up becoming one. So my coach sent me the job, and then now I'm one of them.
Wow. How did you get this job? Did you want to do
I've been
it,
there. I was there for years. I originally applied back in the 80s. I wanted to move out of London, and they were recruiting, and I just ended up there. So
it was a means to get out.
It was a means to get out of London.
With your job, what are the perks, you'd say?
Staff discount is probably one.
Yeah.
Constantly surrounded by food as well. Quite nice. The people I work with are really nice as well. And like sometimes if a customer has like recommended you, or you've done something that's like a bit beyond your job, you get like a £10 voucher to spend across like stores that are linked to Sainsbury's.
Oh, really?
So yeah, that's quite nice to have that like incentive to work towards something like that, and maybe like be a bit kinder than you would usually.
Okay, definitely working with amazing artists and hearing new material and new tracks. So obviously you hear it firsthand, so they send me over stuff like so Elsa Tully, she's just got a release out in a couple of weeks' time, and she'll like send me the stuff over, and then I sort of listen to it and maybe give some feedback. But I kind of leave it to the artists because they're the experts, obviously, and they're the ones whose material it is. So I don't try to get too involved with that, but I can give my feedback and listen. But that's the beauty of it, is kind of I love listening to new music. So having that firsthand, when an artist sends you a new track and you're like, oh my God, this is amazing, I love this. You can just go like, this is like the first person to hear this outside of their like little bubble, which is quite cool. Touring is amazing as well. So I've done a lot of touring of the UK, but also Europe, and been lucky to kind of go to amazing festivals like Glastonbury and Great Escape and Liverpool Sound City through working with musicians and artists that I love and adore. So it's kind of really, that's the best bit, hanging out with your mates. It does sound very glamorous, but when you have to drive, so the most craziest drive, I think, well, I've done a couple of crazy drives, but the most craziest I think was doing one night in Paris with a band called Boy Azouga, who again, friends of mine who I've worked with for a few years. We drove from overnight from Paris to do showcases in Brighton in the Great Escape, and they did like 5 or 6 showcases the next day, and we got there at, I think it was like 5 o'clock in the morning after driving overnight. Got there, we had to do obviously Eurotunnel and all that, and by the time we got there, just had about 2 or 3 hours kip, had to be up again, and then I was driving them around various different setups in Brighton, and it was just like, it was organised chaos, but I loved it.
Yeah.
I didn't get hardly any sleep, because you kind of, once you settle down, you're still buzzing, but
That sounds great. Living in the madness of it all is fun, I think.
yeah, totally.
When I said the question would be, what is your job? I feel like you almost didn't want to do the interview then.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone hates estate agents.
Okay, and
We're
this
only-
is like a cliche, right?
Yeah, we're just one up from tax inspectors. You're not a tax inspector as well, are you? No, I hope
I'm
not.
yet to interview one. But why is that? I understand tax inspectors, right? Because you have to give your money away to them. But what is the problem or the cliche behind the issue of...
How old are the kids you're doing this for? Are they young?
It's not specific for kids, it's
Oh.
for anyone learning English.
Oh, okay. What age from? Are they older?
Anyone can watch it.
Okay. I was going to use an expletive, then I won't.
No, do. I can bleep.
Estate agents aren't. They're vilified, and for a very good reason. They're normally they're just basic liars. That's what they are. Virtually every single one I've ever met, apart from the ones that I work with, are liars. They embellish the truth. They sell something they don't actually own to people who don't really want it, to realise a dream they're ever going to be paying for the next 30 years. And unfortunately, we're all on that treadmill.
And can I ask the final question?
Yeah.
Is it true the whole rumour about, like when you go for a viewing, estate agents will time it just before or after the plane has done the flyby or the train has...
Oh yeah. We had one in local. I was going to give my address anyway. Locally to where I live, and the train line ran right down the back of it. And as we went down, the guy shouted over the top of the trains, "They're not very noisy, are they?"
Thanks for watching this week's episode. Let me know what you do for a job and what the perks are, and we'll see you next week. Bye.